Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, we have a great show for you today. Very, very, very busy. We have a couple of Tulsa Drillers games to cover. Oklahoma City, all the affiliates, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are 9-10. They dropped their latest game to the Los Angeles Mets. They've lost their last two homestands, and they have not won back-to-back games since the homestand with the Rockies, April 3rd and 4th. So, hey, there's a lot to talk about. But before we get into all that, just a reminder, there is now the ability to donate to Dodgers Daily. Just click the link in the description, and you can go right to it and help Dodgers Daily continue growing. Also, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, become a subscriber, and then turn on your notifications. That way, every time Dodgers Daily release a new video, you'll be notified, and you won't miss a thing from Dodgers Daily. Okay, so again, the Dodgers lose. They lose again and go to 9-10. It was a frustrating day. There were some opportunities to be had, and we're going to get into all that. So let's not waste any more time, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So the Dodgers do drop to 9-10, but in the last couple of days, there have been some very exciting moments. How about Clayton Kershaw getting his 200th win? He has been just absolutely fantastic. And how about the 9 Ks and no walks that he churned out in his 200th win just yesterday? He went 7 innings. He's been very efficient, very explosive. Clayton Kershaw, a certain Hall of Famer. What a wonderful pitcher he is. Hey, just be glad that you're getting to see him with your own eyes. That'll mean something someday. Okay, so there's been some good flashes. The offense has been inconsistent. We're going to get into some of that, at least at times throughout this year. And this team has been kind of that whack-a-mole type of team. You know, the Dodgers have some of the greatest brains in baseball trying to figure out, I always talk about early in the season, you can't obsess about results like a hitter. If you get 3 hits in one day, it's liable to swing your average like 100 points. Or if you go 0 for 4, it's liable to drop at 60 or 70. So if all you're worried about are the results, you're going to drive yourself insane. That's the same with the team. So you can't obsess about the 9-10 record, but like I always say, you do have to evaluate every day the process and make sure your process is the best, and it's putting your players and your organization in the best positions every day to win games. So there's been some good flashes. Let's look at some of the good moments. For instance, okay, yesterday in the 8th inning, the Dodgers scored a couple runs. Okay, they generated them. They had a walk, they had a single, a stolen base, they had a sac fly, and then another RBI single. Great inning. And I can tell you those innings are very exciting for a dugout. They get your dugout excited, they get your fans excited. It's kind of like in basketball, a dunk is only worth 2 points, but it's actually worth more than that because it gets everybody so excited you end up playing better defense, and you're liable to go on like a 8-10-0 run because of the excitement that dunk created. Hey, whenever you're able to execute the game of baseball and everybody contributes, when you hit a home run, one guy hits it, there's one guy that has that success, and then everybody else is happy for them, don't get me wrong. But when you create an inning like the Dodgers did, and you have a walk, and you have a single, then a guy steals a base, then a guy hits a sac fly, then another guy hits an RBI single, next thing you know, half your lineup has contributed to those 2 runs. Okay, that is way more exciting because there's way more people involved in it, and it demoralizes the other team a lot more. So that generated inning. Like I said, there's been flashes like that throughout the year. Just look at Brandon Nimmo and look at how he played today. He had the bunt base hit against the shift. And like I said, hey, it's a bunt base hit. It's one base hit. It's one base. But it's more than that because when you play really good offense like that, like he did, I'm telling you, that gets your team excited. The Dodgers, I've been saying this for a while, they need that type of dynamic player that can just generate excitement for his team. To say, hey, boys, it's a little bit flat. I'm going to go do something exciting, and I'm going to get everybody fired up. Next thing you know, we're going to score a couple runs. Of course, Brandon Nimmo is a fantastic baseball player. He's that kind of catalyst. We saw that with our own eyes today with the Mets. The Dodgers, I think, at large part and at large parts of their season, they miss having a guy like that. I think Mookie Betts can be that guy and is that guy at times. I think James Outman has been that guy. Miguel Vargas has a chance to be that guy. As far as just a guy that's going to do something other than hitting a home run, that's going to create positive energy and momentum. In baseball, it's such a game of failure, always looking for positive momentum. So, hey, like Nimmo, the Dodgers need that guy that, hey, when the home runs aren't being hit and there's a little bit of a drought. They need that guy that can step up and create that positive momentum. Okay, this is kind of an example of the inconsistencies. Yesterday, all right, yesterday all 8 hits came from the top 5 guys in the lineup, and I'm going to go over the batting averages. James Outman here, this was the lineup from the day, okay? James Outman, 286, Freddie Freeman, 311, J.D. Martinez, 274, Max Muncy, 237, Jason Hayward, 200, Miguel Vargas, 191, David Peralta, 184, and Austin Wynn's recently acquired catcher hitting just 125. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in your lineup, okay, going from Muncy to Hayward to Vargas, Peralta, Williams, and Wynns. That's 6 guys that are hitting 237 or below. That's why you're inconsistent, because the top of your lineup is stacked with your best hitters. Like I said, all 8 hits yesterday from the top 5 guys in your lineup. That's why right there. Just look at the averages. It explains that whole scenario. Okay, today, again, another thing that's frustrating for Dodgers fans is that we've seen it with our own eyes. They are just 2-4 on the homestand, and like I said, we have not seen back-to-back wins from this club since they beat Colorado on April 3rd and April 4th. I believe those are the 2 dates that the Dodgers beat the Rockies back in early April. But hey, that was the last time the Dodgers had back-to-back wins. Today, okay, there were opportunities. There were some. 2 for 7, runners in scoring position. They had bases loaded, 1 out, couldn't score, but only 5 hits. When you only have 5 hits, you don't have enough opportunities. So, 2 for 7 is not unbelievably bad with runners in scoring position. The part of that's the most frustrating is the only 7. Okay, so you need more than that. Only 5 hits on the night. Noah Syndergaard, boy, I tell you what, he was better today. He's had tough luck this year. The Dodgers have only scored 1 run in his 3 home starts this year. His changeup was very good. He made the 1 mistake for the 2-run home run. But, hey, kind of like Kershaw, he was efficient. He was throwing to weak contact, kind of like I talked about. I thought he was going to have to do. Not a velo guy. He's going to be a more of a location, movement, change speeds, weak contact type of pitcher. It looks to me like he's settling in. He threw pretty good today. It looked like the ball came out of his hands pretty comfortably today. So I think Noah Syndergaard, I think he's coming around. He's ready to, be pretty good for the Dodgers. So, hey, tough luck for him. He's been okay so far to this point in the season. I think when you put his whole entire body of work together, I think you could probably give him probably a B- somewhere in there, maybe a B. I think he's been okay. Okay, so Alex Vesia, Yency Almonte, those are the 2 guys in the bullpen that you're a little bit worried about right now. Their ERAs are elevated. We've seen them both at times struggle this year. Justin Bruihl, how about him? He got brought up from Oklahoma City, and going back to the beginning of the year at Oklahoma City, he has yet to give up a run, period, whether it be in AAA or now with the Dodgers. He's thrown on back-to-back days. He's been so good. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that this club, one of the things about them that has been kind of maddening is that when you chew on the process, it seems like it's something different every day that's causing a loss, So, it's one thing if you go, hey, if we just start doing this one thing or these 2 things or even these 3 things better, we're going to start winning. And odds are we are going to start doing those because we've always been good at them. So then you don't worry from that perspective. But it seems like, hey, when the bullpen pitches really well, then the offense doesn't score. Or when the offense scores, then the bullpen doesn't pitch very well. Or when the bullpen does pitch well, then the starter doesn't pitch really well. Kind of like the one Michael Grove start where the Dodgers scored, I believe, 8 runs and still lost. So it's just, kind of like really great teams, they find different ways to win, and it seems like somebody different every day contributes to those wins. It's the exact opposite kind of this year for the Dodgers. It seems like it's something or somebody new every time that is contributing in a different way that you don't really expect that's leading to some of these losses. So it's from that perspective, it's very frustrating because it's hard to pinpoint any 1 or 2 things that you just need to concentrate on to get better at, to create more consistency. So as far as the pitching goes, okay, the starters, Clayton Kershaw, 2.5 ERA. Julio Urias has been fantastic. Like I said, Syndergaard, I think all in all pretty good. His ERA is 4.91, but again, he's deserved better as far as run support. Only 1 run given in his 3 home starts. Michael Grove, he had the good start his first time out. A little bit unlucky. He did get up the 4 runs. His last start was really good. The second one in the middle It went sideways on him. And Dustin May, overall, I know his last start he struggled a touch, but hey, 3.0 ERA, I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic. So overall, he's been really good. How about the bullpen? All right, Phil Bickford, 386. Shelby Miller, 216. Evan Phillips, 386. Most of those all have come in one outing. Alex Vesia, 1112. Andre Jackson, who just got optioned to Oklahoma City and replaced by Justin Brule, he was at 864. Caleb Ferguson, 284. So he's been good. Most of those have come in his one outing just a couple of outings ago. And Yency Almonte, 711. So like I said, I think the two guys you have on watch right now are Almonte and Vesia. Let's hope they figure it out. They've been fantastic in the past. I think they will. I don't think the Dodgers are worried about that, but definitely two guys that maybe have a little bit of an alarming start that you might put on your monitor list, and then Justin Brule, who was just recently brought up. Okay, so the Dodgers lost some good talent last year. You're talking about Trey Turner, Cody Bellinger, Tyler Anderson, and those kind of guys. So who'd they replace him with? Let's talk about the newcomers, the production you've gotten there. Shelby Miller, 2.16 until today. He had been absolutely fantastic. Noah Syndergaard, we've already talked about him. JD Martinez, he's been hot. He had the 4 hits yesterday. He had the 1 hit today. He's all the way up to 274. His OPS is 883. David Peralta, he had the home run the night today, 162, OPS 368. Jason Hayward, 200, 819 OPS. Okay, Austin Wynns, recently acquired catcher. Okay, OPS 500, batting average 167. So leave a comment. Do you think the Dodgers added or subtracted as far as what they lost last year and what they replaced it with? You lost Justin Turner as well. How can I forget about him? Andrew Heaney's another guy you lost. So, hey, add or subtract. What do you think so far as who you lost versus what you gained, this year with the production, the newcomers that I just went over? And then Miguel Rojas, obviously, he has played good defense, but he's below 200 with the batting average. Okay, so there you go. Dodgers, again, 9-10 on the season, have not won back-to-back games since April 3rd and April 4th. Next up, they go to Chicago, to the north side of Chicago to play at historic Wrigley Field. Okay, going to play Cody Bellinger again. Cody Bellinger is off to a good start with the Cubs. Michael Grove is on the bump for the Dodgers, and hopefully Michael Grove can give his second really, really good start in a row for the Dodgers. So that's our talk on the LA Dodgers. So let's now move our attention to the minor league system for the Dodgers. Let's not waste any more time, and let's take a trip down on the farm. How about the AAA Oklahoma City offense last night? They scored 15 runs. They scored 2 in the first, 5 in the second, and then they had 2 runs both in the third and fourth innings before scoring 4 in the sixth inning to grind out a 15-13 win in Albuquerque, the old location where, the old Albuquerque Dukes used to be the AAA team of the Oklahoma City Dodgers. Now Albuquerque is a AAA affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. You're looking at Hunter Fiducia, who went 5 for 5 last night. He had a home run, 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored, 6 total bases. That's not all, though. Hunter Fiducia is 8 for his last 15. He's hitting .407 on the year. The young Louisiana native who went to LSU Eunice. He went to LSU to finish his college career. His on-base percentage for Hunter Fiducia is .585. His OPS is 1363. This dude is on a good tear right now. I talked to him just Sunday. I've released that interview if you want to watch that. It's on Dodgers Daily now. He said they made some adjustments. He got a toe tap now, so they added a toe tap for some timing type stuff. And then also, look at that toe tap right there. Then they changed some things to allow his hands to work a little bit better and get to the baseball a little bit more freely. And it is absolutely taken for him. Again, he is hitting .407 this year. Hunter Fiducia. Drew Avens had a good night last night for AAA Oklahoma City, including his 3rd home run of the year. He got on base 4 times. I've said it a lot. Once he gets on base, he knows how to get over, and then he knows how to get in, something he did last night. So Drew Avens, the young man out of Alabaster, Alabama, went to Southeastern Louisiana in college. He is that guy that can do just a little bit of everything. We saw that I talked about that with Nemo with the Mets, how he can bunt a little bit, he can hit home runs, he can energize the team, he can provide energy. That's the type of player that Drew Avens is. He's very fun to watch. His teammates love playing with him. He was, awarded as the grittiest player in the minor league organization for the Dodgers as voted by the players. He brings energy for them. I love his game, and he had a good game yesterday at Albuquerque. Well, if you follow Dodgers Daily much, you know how high I am on the hit tool of young left-hander Ryan Ward. He had 4 hits last night, including his 4th double that you're probably going to see here in just a minute. right here. Look at Ryan Ward. I love that swing. There's another single that he hit last night, but he had 4 hits, okay, and his 4th double. He had 6 for 10 so far in Albuquerque. He likes that high altitude there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Ryan Ward has raised his average 65 points in this series. Boy, I love that swing right there. Just a beautiful left-handed swing. Base hit into right field. So, hey, Wardo, as he's known, keep raking. Things I've always said about Devinmann, the young man out of Louisville, originally out of Indiana. So, championship pedigree. He knows what big-time athletics look like. But as far as on the field, a lot of things that I have said about him. Okay, when he gets hot, he gets hits in bunches. No doubt about it. He has multi-hit games and back-to-back games for Oklahoma City. He covers the outside part of the plate. If you look at this double he hit right here, watch where this pitch is at. He covers that outer part of the plate right there so well. He covers it as well as anybody. Gets great extension on it. So you cannot go away to Devinmann. That allows him to get his arms extended, and that's really where he's at his best. So he covers the outside part of the plate so well, and he is very, very, very versatile. He's 5 for his last 12, so that goes to show that, you know, him getting hits in bunches, and he's played every position at Oklahoma City except for pitcher, catcher, and center field, and he did play center field while he was in Double-A Tulsa. So that goes to show his versatility, and you got to see how he covered the outside part of the plate with that double. So Devinmann, good young prospect in the Dodgers organization. Patrick Mazeika is a veteran catcher that the Dodgers brought over to provide some catching depth in the organization, some catching depth as far as a guy that has major league experience. David Freitas is also on the AAA Oklahoma City roster. He had 3 hits last night, including the one you saw right there, pulled that ball right into right field. So 3 hits last night for AAA Oklahoma City. Hey, he has his average up to 310. Like I said, that's the, Mazeika and Freitas, they're the major league type of experience and depth for the AAA. We know how talented the catching pool is for, the Dodgers, but at the top now they've added the major league depth to it with Mazeika and Freitas. So Mazeika hitting the ball very well. He has 147 major league at-bats. By the way, that just goes to show his depth. So Mazeika hitting the ball well. He was signed in the offseason to a minor league contract, so a major league experience type guy on a minor league contract. The Dodgers love that. Well, it wouldn't be a show about AAA Oklahoma City if you didn't include Michaelbusch, who had 2 more hits last night. Michaelbusch has his average up to 348. His OPS is 991. He has hits in 4 games in a row. He has hits in 12 out of his last 13. He's 16. His hits in 16 of his last 18 games. I could go on and on and on about this young man out of Minnesota. Went to University of North Carolina, who's played anywhere from first base to second base. They tried him at third base. He grew up at all-state shortstop. He was the quarterback on his high school team. He played hockey, so he has leadership, and he's an all-state shortstop. So when you talk about being a quarterback and an all-state shortstop, you're talking about a good athlete, obviously. You're talking about a guy that's been in leadership roles, and he's kind of that quiet leader that his teammates follow by example. He just does his work, does his process, and he leads by example every single day. And I can tell you for a fact his teammates love this young man. And I'll tell you what, I'm not being, dramatic or too over-exaggerated here. He's one of the best young hitting prospects I've ever seen. He is literally that good of a hitter. I've talked to guys who would know more than I would about it, that have coached him and been alongside him and worked with him. They will say the same things about him. This young man is just a fantastic young hitter. The Drillers scored 2 in the 3rd last night, 2 in the 8th, and they won 4-0 as they blanked the Wichita Windsurge, the Double-A affiliates of the Minnesota Twins. This is not action from that game. I wanted to back you up. We did not talk about the game prior to that. Landon Knack threw in that game, and he threw just absolutely fantastically. Landon Knack, the young man out of East Tennessee State University. He also went to Walter State, has had just a tremendous start to 2023. I've always known that he's a 4-pitch strike thrower with a great changeup. We've always known that, and he throws strikes with 4 different pitches, so he locates, he moves the ball, and he can hit, 96, somewhere around in there. But honestly, I didn't know his slider was as good or has become as good as it has. It may be his best pitch right now. I know that Dennis Higgins, there's that slider right there. Dennis Higgins, the great play-by-play voice for the Tulsa Drillers, was mentioning that he was there's that slider again, talking to Ryan Dennick, the pitching coach of the Tulsa Drillers, and Ryan was talking about how the slider of Landon Knack, look at that pitch and the depth on it, might be his best pitch right now. So Landon Knack, is doing a fantastic job, a great start to 2023. He had another great outing yesterday. He went 5 innings scoreless, and his ERA now is just 0.69 on the year. His whip is 0.77. There's a good look at the young East Tennessee native. And the thing about him, he's always been a highly rated prospect. He's super motivated. You know, he had the forearm issues last year that he dealt with all year that really held him back. He's healthy now. He's in great shape. He's super motivated, and he is off to a great start. It's a great job, landonknack. I want to show you this sequence because all the guys that you're getting ready to see it from are on the 40-man roster, which means they're eligible to be brought up by the Los Angeles Dodgers at any time if needed. And, you know, we've seen and we've talked about that 40-man roster spot, the guys that aren't on it. It's tough for them to get to L.A. because if Los Angeles wants that spot back, they'd have to DFA somebody to get that spot back, specifically probably the person they brought up. Well, you wouldn't have to do that with any of the guys you're seeing in this video. Okay, JonnyDeluca singled Yorbit Vivas, who has been on absolute tear and has been on base every single game. He's hit safely, actually, in every single game so far this year. And then andypages and diegocartaya all teamed up to score a couple of runs here. So I wanted to show you this sequence. This was from the afternoon game the other day, not from last night. So I guess that would be on Tuesday, the afternoon game in Tulsa, where all the kids came out and watched. Wanted to show you that there's Jose Ramos, another very talented outfielder too, and Henny right there, the mayor of Drillville, the mayor for the AA Tulsa Drillers. Wanted to show you this because these are all guys on the 40-man roster. Imanolvargas hit his second home run of 2023 and has his average up to 333. I say it every time that I talk about this young man. He is absolutely probably the most underrated player in the Dodgers organization. This guy is a great offensive player. You know, Imanolvargas, he led the Midwest League in on-base percentage last year, the second half of 2021, and he can hit. I mean, he can really, really hit. His average this year is up to 333. There's a good look at him right there. His OPS is 1192, and like I said, I mean, I actually called him the machine. I say that every time I talk to him about him too, because he just seemed like every single game he gave you the same great, consistent performance, and very good as well. So Imanolvargas, boy, he is off to a great start. And not surprising, if you follow the Dodgers minor league system much at all, this is a young man that if you don't follow him a lot and you just look at the prospects list, you're going, okay, now who is this guy? But if you actually do follow the Dodgers minor league system on a nightly basis or a somewhat nightly basis, you're not surprised about the good start for Imanolvargas. Andypages had a hit and an RBI for Tulsa. He has now hits in 4 of his last 5 games. Last series against Midland, boy, he was absolutely on a tear. He went 8 for 18, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, and scored 8 runs. So Andypages, the young man who is on the 40-man roster, one of the biggest prospects outfield-wise in the game. He has a bazooka. He has a world of power, and he's dropped a lot of weight this year. So Andypages, boy, what a great start he is off to, and looking good for the AA Tulsa Drillers. Nickfrasso got the start. He had another great start as well. Boy, he has pitched really, really well. He is the young man that came over from the Blue Jays for Mitch White, if you remember, and he has done nothing but get better and better and better. He went to Loyola Marymount in college, and he's from the LA area, so boy, don't you know he is super motivated to be a Dodger. Again, another great start for AA Tulsa for Frasso. He went 4 innings, gave up no runs, 4 hits. His ERA on the year is just 138. His whip is just 115. I love just kind of the gangly knees and elbows type delivery. He hides the ball very well. If you watch, he drops the ball behind his back, and watch how long it stays hidden. Right there. The hitter just doesn't see it until the ball's almost released. He gets down the mound very well because he is very, very long, and he has a long stride, so it's like he's handing the ball off to the catcher. So that 99 that he's hit looks even harder than that and faster than that to a hitter, and then it's awkward to him, and so you get a lot of swings like that from really good hitters. Nickfrasso, a huge, huge upside for the Dodgers. Boy, Tanner Dodson has been killing it for the AA Tulsa Drillers so far this year. Yesterday, he turned in another great outing. He went 3 innings scoreless. He didn't allow a hit, and he struck out 2 and walked just 1. I've talked several different times that when Tanner Dodson is in the strike zone, his stuff is very, very, very difficult to hit, and he is one of the most talented right arms that the Dodgers have as far as just being explosive. He has hit 100 with it in the past. His off-speed is just absolutely dirty, and the thing about him, I've said it many, many times, but look at that slider. That's just a really good pitch. It's a matter of if he can throw strikes, and now not only is he throwing strikes, look at that depth on that slider as well. not only is he throwing strikes, he's throwing strikes with multiple pitches. And when he does that, he is virtually unhittable at times, as we saw yesterday by the evidence that he did not allow a hit or a run. Great job, Tanner Dotson. Well, how about the left-handed pitcher from Hofstra, Johnrooney, who transitioned to the bullpen this year, and he loves the fact that he's in high-leverage situations like he was yesterday in the late innings of games, and he has just absolutely excelled in this role for a couple reasons. One, the high adrenaline of the high moments. He loved those kind of moments. I've talked about how competitive he is in the past. And for two, it's just a situation to where he doesn't have to conserve his stuff. He can go out there. He knows he only has maybe 3 outs, maybe 6. So he can just max out and throw as hard as he wants and max out all of his stuff, max out that sweeping slider we just saw, max out the fastball. So the next thing you know, all of a sudden, you're a couple of ticks up on your velo. Your slider has a little bit more movement to it. It has more bite to it. And then all of a sudden, you start getting a lot more outs. So how about this? His whip on the year, Johnrooney, is just 0.63. His average against is just 182. And his ERA is 142. So Johnrooney, fantastic job. I love, just the move right here. I love the way he's embraced it. You saw that confidence. Look at that sweeping slider as well. And I love the results. So, hey, keep up the great work, Johnrooney. Well, it was cold and windy yesterday in Midland, Michigan. And how about you like to have to hit Ronankopp, who is throwing what he likes to call velo donuts? And, boy, I call them 96-mile-an-hour darts. I mean, when you're throwing 96 and it's cold and windy and you're getting balls in on your hands like that, that is not any fun at all. It was not fun for the South Bend hitters, the high A affiliates of the Chicago Cubs out of South Bend, Indiana. Okay, Ronankopp has allowed just 1 earned run in his 10 innings so far this year. He has an average against just 182 and a whip of 110. This young man continues to get better and better and better. We've always known about the huge potential that he has, and he is living up to it. And, boy, look at that pitch right there, 81 mile an hour. I don't know if that's a changeup or a curveball or whatever. I have talked to him about his pitch mix before, but sometimes it's hard to tell on video. But, boy, I'll tell you what, he has different speeds he can throw. He can throw that fastball, then he can throw that slider that's kind of in between. Then he can go down to the low 80s, and change speeds about 3 different times. So Ronankopp, very, very, very good left arm. Boy, and a young man with huge potential in the Dodgers system. YuniorGarcia went 2 for 4 yesterday for the Great Lakes Loons. And I'll tell you what, I've said it many times about him, but when he gets hot, he stays hot for a while. He hit his second home run yesterday of 2023 for Great Lakes. He hit 431 for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes in August, right before he got called up last year to Great Lakes in August and then September. So like I said, he gets hot. YuniorGarcia does. When he gets hot, he stays hot. He hit his second home run of the season last night for the Great Lakes Loons. Jakevogel had 2 hits and an RBI yesterday. He scored 2 runs for the Great Lakes Loons. This is a second multi-hit game in his last 4. With his speed, he has great speed. When he gets on, he gets over, kind of like Drew Avens I talk about. He's that catalyst at the top of the lineup that can bunt a little bit. He can run. He can steal bases. He can do a little bit of everything. So the Dodgers need Jakevogel, to get his offensive game to where, maybe he's getting on base at a 350, 400 clip, because when he gets on, like I said, he knows how to get over and he knows how to get in. And as of late, Jakevogel has been playing very good offense for the Great Lakes Loons. How about this for confidence in the left-handed swing of daltonrushing, one of the best young hitters in the game of baseball? Okay, the bases were loaded. The Loons were down 2. The count was 3-0, and the pitcher he is facing had walked the last 2 hitters. A lot of people would think, hey, sit on the take, try to score a run, try to cut the lead in half. The green light on 3-0 was given to daltonrushing, and he absolutely delivered. He cleared the bases with this double that you're seeing right here. So a lot of confidence shown in that left-handed hit tool, daltonrushing, and for very, very, very good reason. The start that I showed you a minute ago was from the other day. Yesterday was adolforamirez, who gave the Loons a very, very good start, and he kept them in the game long enough to score late and win. Adolforamirez went 3.2 scoreless innings, and he is flashing 4 pitches. I got a chance to communicate with him yesterday about his pitch mix. He's very happy with where it's at right now. Said he's throwing a 4-seam, slider, curve, and change. Like I said, he's happy with where it's at this moment. And so adolforamirez using those 4 pitches to have a very, very, very good outing for the Great Lakes Loons. Christian Suarez is kind of the left-handed version of Tanner Dotson in the sense that, in the past he's been very, very explosive, but he hasn't thrown strikes all the time. And boy, until this year, he has done a very, very, very good job throwing strikes this year, and he has been absolutely very good for Great Lakes to this point. So, hey, Christian Suarez, he had another scoreless outing yesterday. He looked very good. His stuff was explosive. There's that high fastball that just kind of gets on hitters, but it's that sweeping slider that really, really does it. And the combo between both of them there, it's that little changeup type pitch too. So you've seen everything Christian Suarez and why it's so difficult for hitters to hit him. There's a little kind of cutter type pitch to the back door. So he has that backdoor type cutter. He has a sweeper to the back foot. He has the changeup you saw here in a minute ago. And then he has a good fastball. So explosive stuff for Christian Suarez of the Loons. Well, Juliansmith looked really, really, really good. He was on top of his game yesterday. His four-seam was very good. His slider was very dynamic, very fun to watch. I love watching Juliansmith. He has a lot of energy. He has good stuff. His stuff was really live yesterday. It had a lot of what I just call extra life to it, a little bit of hop to it. So very fun to watch. Juliansmith's average against is just 154, so he's been very tough to hit so far early in this season. His whip is just 109, so like I said, tough to hit. Juliansmith, very good outing yesterday, very dynamic. The Rancho Cucamonga Quakes did not have video yesterday. You are looking at Chris Campos here on this video. This is not from yesterday. I just wanted to give you a good look at him. But hey, they won 2-0. They scored 2 in the 7th to beat the Fresno Grizzlies. The 2 runs in the 7th were all they needed for hitting-wise. Theron Lorenzo had a hit, and Nick Biddison had a hit as well, but that was it. So Rancho, they scored 2 in the 7th, and they rode really good pitching. Another performance from Maddox Bruns where he was just absolutely fantastic. He did not give up a run again last night. He has not given up a run all year. Chris Campos came in. He threw very well as well. So I wanted to show you that video of Chris Campos, right-handed pitcher, and, kind of cover Rancho a little bit. Not a whole lot because I did not get to see the game with my own eyes because I do not have video, but there you go. Chris Campos, Maddox Bruns threw very well last night for Rancho to blank the Fresno Grizzlies. The Fresno Grizzlies 2-0 in their game last night, and so now the Quakes are 7-4 on the year. They will play Fresno again tonight in the 6-game series there in the California League. So there you have it. There's our show for you today. Very, very, very busy show. All the affiliates, again, were in action. So got to cover all that. So like I said, very busy show, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, fans, before we get out of here, one more reminder. We now do have the option and the ability to help Dodgers Daily by donating. Follow the link in the description if you would like to donate. And also, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily grow, become a subscriber and tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily. And then once you subscribe, go ahead and click that notification bell. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified. You won't miss a thing. Dodgers Daily will keep growing, and we can keep doing what we love to do, which is providing you videos like this. As always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and say, go Dodgers!